It's 9 minutes after 7. My name is Kobe Spiking Chroma, and it's a Tuesday, the 6th of June. I'm here with Winston. I'm here with Michael. After WWDC 2023, if you don't know what WWDC is, it's Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, where they announce all their latest in the software, and sometimes you get to experience, well, not sometimes, I think for a while now, WWDC announces new Apple hardware, not phones. So yeah, you get to know if there's going to be a new Mac. And this year there was something out of the ordinary, something quite missing from Apple's list of usual announcements for a while, something visionary. Yeah. See what I did there?
Yes, we do see it.
We see it more.
No, yeah.
I mean, if you squint, it could be the phone of the future.
Well, yeah, if you do squint hard enough. So, with that being said, and with that announcement, we're going to talk about all the things that were announced from the... Well, is there anything the least to the greatest? Well, yeah, we can say some of them were the least impressive to the very greatly impressive.
Objectively, that is.
Well, yeah, if you're from the Apple camp.
Yeah.
And if you're a tech aficionado.
If you're a techie, there were a lot of objectively impressive things to be seen.
Yeah. So where do we start from? Let's start from going for a break for an ad. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about iOS 17, iPad OS, Watch OS, new MacBook, new
Mac OS
Mac OS Sonoma.
I thought it was Somanya. The first time I saw it, I was like, is that Somanya? And then I looked critically. I was like, I don't know
why it's Somanya. That would know of.
Mac OS Somanya. Yeah. And then we'll talk about Vision Pro. We'll be right back.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
This Father's Day, show love and appreciation to your father with Woodin's variety of specially designed shirts. Get your father exquisite styled shirts from any Woodin retail shop nationwide and receive a lovely gift to make the occasion more memorable. Terms and conditions apply. Offer available while stocks last. Woodin, le créateur.
And we're back. So before we continue to the conversation proper, Winston is here with the news. Before Winston opens his mouth, key soundtrack.
Geek Squad.
Good evening, everyone. And these are the tech headlines this week. Linda Yaccaroni replaces Elon Musk as Twitter boss. If you didn't know this, Elon Musk tweeted a few months ago whether he should step down as the president of Twitter, and 57% said yes. So he's got a replacement, Miss Yacarino, I'm sorry, and she's from advertising at NBC Universal. She joined Twitter a few days ago. Second, Microsoft will be paying $20 million to the US federal regulators after it was found to have illegally collected data on children who had started Xbox accounts. This is similar to the same charge that was given to Amazon for its Echo devices taking data on kids. Next, Move It, a software that is used to move files securely, has been hacked. Due to this hack, the BBC, British Airways, Boots, and many other companies have been affected by this. Some staff members have been told that their personal data, including national insurance numbers, date of birth, and even in some cases bank details, may have been stolen. But no ransom has been issued out now.
I like the movie a little bit.
Next, YouTube will stop. In a very interesting move, YouTube will stop removing videos with false claims of fraud in the 2020 presidential elections. Now, the social media platform announced on Friday that this is the new move, and they said this was happening because they believed they were infringing on the First Amendment, and that even though they were removing misinformation, they believed they were trampling on democracy. Interesting. Next is the US has charged the biggest crypto trading platform in the country with operating illegally, widening its crackdown on the industry. So the SEC says that Coinbase, that is the largest crypto trading platform, acted as a broker, exchange, and clearing agency for investments that are subject to SEC rules without proper registration. So basically, Coinbase was selling out stuff they were not allowed to, things that hadn't been cleared by the SEC. And finally, Apple had its WWDC event yesterday, and we begin the show from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, producer Abeku. So yes, Apple WWDC. While you're listening, I'd like for you to share with us what your favorite announcement was, and my guess is it's all going to be Vision Pro. But then again, I'm still going to ask what your favorite announcement was and why. It's not just what it was. Let me know why. 055 111 997, 055 1111 997, 055 111 997. Share with me, what was your favorite announcement if you did watch a WWDC from WWDC, and let us know why that is your favorite. So, first off, Apple started talking about, as usual, health stuff, mindfulness, Watch OS, and now Watch OS can do widgets again. So Watch OS could do widgets before.
Mm-hmm.
They took it away, and then they brought it back. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
To be honest, I kind of blacked out during the Watch OS conversation. I don't know, man. So, Michael, kindly handle this one.
I mean, widgets is
For
now.
those who don't know what widgets are,
Okay. Android users will be used to this. I'm sorry, this is sounding spikish, I'll say, but anyway, I'll say Android will be used to this. Widgets are little sub pieces of information or sub apps you can put on the desktops, on your desktops of phones and some computers that you can use to get additional information without opening the associated app.
Yeah,
so easy access to information.
Yeah. For instance, the weather widgets.
I mean, if you're using an Android, you most likely have a weather widget. So if you see the weather icon on your screen that's telling you the weather right now, that's a widget.
Even the Google search bar on your home screen is a widget.
So
Apple, you don't have to open Google.
So Apple users, before you shout that I'm being unfair, yes, we too have it now. From as far back as iOS 14 or 15.
But that's very interesting.
Anyway,
yes, please continue.
So now, but it has only recently been on iPhones and Androids. iPhones and iPads only. Now it's on your watch again. They brought it back.
Return of the Mac.
That's a good one. Speaking on the Mac, it's also on Mac OS as well.
Yes.
Which makes you wonder why didn't they do that long ago? Because it works so well for iOS and iPad. Why not
OS.
there? But yeah, finally it's here. and pretty much the same amount of information. You just swipe up on the scroll, use a scroll wheel, swipe up, and then you get
the widgets.
Or the widgets and all these little pieces of information you want without having to now search for and open the associated app.
For me, it was quite interesting that Apple hadn't kept the widgets on. I always wondered
why they took them off.
Yeah, why they took it off, because with the size of the screen and with how widgets are designed, they're designed for a quick glance. You get all the information that you need. I mean, if people could turn all their messaging apps into widgets and stuff like that, many people would, and I think that many companies should actually look in that direction so that your watches can be more powerful, because it's not as loaded, it's not as front end loaded on your. But I guess maybe they realized that, oh, okay, the widgets were actually a very important thing, and that's why they brought it back.
Well, presumably they got a lot of telemetry data from people using it on their phones, because yes, your phones will share information about how you use it, but I won't say that it is you. And it was okay, widgets are really quite a thing. Fine, let's see how we can put it back there and also expand the use to max. So, well,
widgets galore.
Yeah.
And there's another thing about Apple Watch that was introduced, which was very interesting. It was a lot of focus on cycling, it's a lot of focus on golfing and tennis, as we're seeing on the screen right now. So for people who want to measure their swing during a serve, their swing during a golf, what do you call it when the first?
It's not us.
Any golfers? Any golfers?
Yep.
Lexus. Well, yeah, Lexus is in the studio with us. Let me ask Lexus, what do you call the first swing when you're playing golf?
Oh, tee off.
Yeah, a swing. So, like from the beginning now, is a swing.
Isn't it tee off?
As a tee off. Oh, golfers, if you're listening,
please tell us.
Lexus said it's a swing. Maybe, I don't know if it's a swing or a seesaw.
Anyway,
Michael, you said you didn't know, but now you said tee off. Now I'm beginning to, yeah, but then again, you could be right, because it's tee.
Yeah, like grew up reading encyclopedia books for shiggy reasons.
Well,
so yeah.
So yes, that's now you can measure. And I learned something I forget. I learned a term for the rotation of your wrists in tandem with the swing. There's actually a term for that measurement.
Really?
Yes, there is. I forgot the term for the life of me. For the first time watching a tech conference, I learned something out of tech that I never knew.
I mean, I do remember randomly seeing something. It was FP something, and I think that was for cycling. They were talking about measuring your speed and some stuff. But yeah, that's all nice and fun.
I just had a thought. Considering the similarity in the movement styles, will it work if you are cutting grass with a cutlass?
Bro, honestly.
So you're honestly imagining
someone cutting
Baba about to cut the grass with his langa wearing an Apple Watch, measuring the swing.
Yes.
Ridiculous. For what reason?
Okay.
What is Baba trying to figure out?
Look, we live in a big world. If Baba has caught up with the times and what's data,
you know what?
how to improve its efficiency mid-swing.
At this point, if you get the new Mac OS, we'll try this to see if we can actually trigger that feature.
Baba will probably break the scale, because Charlie, the angle with which they swing that langa is not.
See, world records being set.
Okay, now moving on from this conversation, because I honestly don't know how we got here talking about swing and what's not. Anyway, yeah, so Apple Watch, then AirPods got audio upgrades. Anybody care about that information?
The other thing I actually was very interested in is the fact that what happened to the AirPods Max?
It's still there.
It's not something that is conversated about a lot. I remember when it came, hefty price, and now nothing. We barely hear anything about AirPods.
I mean, it's there. Just go spend the money for it. So something did occur to me, though, when they announced the new capabilities of the AirPods. And not just that, all the new little upgrades they do. Remember last week we spoke about how Apple's approach to AI and everything is?
Yeah.
I think this is what these little changes and all are the results of their approach to that. Remember, they can't come out and just say, oh, we have an AI that will pull all your data and do all these things for you. But look, as technology vendors, we need to know how best we can sort you out. We can give you what you want, or what we think you want. So we need data to do that. Now, your device will collect a lot of anonymous data, and I'm sure they surely have highly advanced AI and machine learning things that can filter. Because the fact that just by someone speaking to you, the thing can read the intention and you can then pay attention to this person, and then once the conversation stops, you resume where no device can run that on its own, except when it has then been taught these are the patterns, or the little, not even full on, little micro patterns in what someone does when they are giving attention. Yeah. If it can tell, you've
like
turned your head to this person.
When when there was a voice, the voice increase, the head turn means that you want to listen to this person.
You're maintaining focus, you're not turning away. Like all these little things are feeding to say, this is what someone does, to tell that someone is speaking to across various languages. Like,
I mean, I think we can actually, based on yesterday's stuff, we can notice that Apple is focused more on machine learning and pattern recognition. Pattern recognition has been their thing for the longest time now, especially with Face ID. Yeah. Face ID is like one of the best case studies for what pattern recognition is. And now Tim Cook actually said yesterday that their drive into AI is going to be focused on being very thoughtful. I don't really know what that means, but what I'm gathering from everything that happened yesterday is that the focus is they are not here to do a natural language processor. They are not here to do a chat GPT. They are not here to do a BARD yet. What they are going to focus on is little things that will help the phone learn more about you and help to
make your life easier.
Improve your use of it. So I think this was even made clear in the keyboard, but that's something for the iOS conversation.
Yeah. So the AirPods and audio upgrades essentially will combine noise cancelling with intelligent audio to drown out annoying background noise while letting through important sounds like car horns or biker bells. So while you're wearing your AirPods, walking around, and there's a trotro behind you honking, ping, 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 you should hear that, even though it's drowning out all the other noises. So maybe there's somebody doing a cutting those chainsaw, operator somewhere. It will drown that out. But when it hears ping, 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 it will let that in.
And that's some good pattern recognition.
Yeah. So, and it will also let voices pass through in case someone starts a conversation.
I have only one question.
Yeah.
Does that mean to allow the fun eyes people sound through? These are fun things that we could actually test.
Yeah. So moving on from that to your favorite Mac OS Nshurma Somanya Sonoma.
Yeah, a lot has changed and nothing has changed.
Well, yeah, widgets like we've mentioned, but the most important thing for me when this whole WWDC was going on, I was thinking, what would happen if I decide to go into the Apple ecosystem? What would I miss? And one thing just hits me: playing games.
Yo,
that's one thing I'd miss.
Yeah,
because I'm not a console gamer; I'm a PC gamer, and I have never, for the life of me, experienced gaming on Macs since my first Apple Macintosh Mac 2, playing Lode Runner and Dark Castle and F1 in black and white and crashing the whole time thinking I was driving. But yeah, that's the last time I ever played a game on a Mac. And to think that we have AAA titles on PC games and you can't get those on a Mac is what probably dissuades me from getting on a Mac. But Apple is saying that they're going to be changing that.
Yes.
Or they're hoping to change that.
It is a very interesting thing that Apple, that is typically at the forefront of any form of optimization when it comes to software development, is now at the tail end when it comes to gaming. Maybe because they've never really made gaming a focus, which is actually very shocking because their devices tend to be they are graphic-based devices that have very good GPUs, are very, very good GPUs, except when there was some fiasco with the Intel stuff. That was just a short run. But it's very surprising, and I do agree. We used to use an iMac a lot, and then it's great for everything, but you can't play games. And it's always been a stumbling factor for me that I need my laptop to be able to do all things. And just the mere fact that, with the Apple MacBooks, plugged whether they are on charge or not on charge, they give you the same power output. If you didn't know, if you are listening to this, if you are doing something on your laptop and it is not on a powered source, if you've noticed, it's much slower than when you connect it to a power outlet. So
in my case, it's not if. There's no if. The if is actually an acronym for in fact. It is very slow.
Yeah, it is a fact. So if you didn't know this, if you are someone who is doing something on your computer and you need it to be a little faster, plug it into the power source, you get a lot more, sometimes 20 to 30% more performance.
Mine is probably 50 to 70%
more performance. Yeah, but my thing about Mac OS though is that increasingly there's a point of convergence coming between iPad OS and Mac OS. They should just drop one and give us touchscreen MacBooks, and let's just go on with our lives.
People will stop buying iPads.
That's the problem. That's the thing. So,
exactly.
But right now, they've even put Final Cut. Recently, they announced, and people, I haven't even asked Salasi if he's used this. Shocking. I should ask him. They put Final Cut and I've forgotten Lumia, I think, on iPad OS. And it's like, okay, if I have an iPad Pro with the M chip
M1,
in there,
M2.
That means that I will be able, I don't need my MacBook to edit basic YouTube videos and stuff like that. But that means that what is the salient variance between iPad OS and Mac OS? Now that you've added widgets to Mac OS, that point of convergence is coming even more.
Yeah, so the only difference right now is touch.
Yes, the touch input.
Yes, and pen.
Isn't that strange?
No.
Michael, what do you think?
What, and reduce income stream? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is a company that created the Apple Pencil to be stuck into the rear end of the iPad to charge
like
it.
a tail.
Yes, and if you don't want to go through that stress, you buy a cable that allows you to charge it.
You extend the tail.
Extend the tail. You get it? We're always looking for ways to make more money.
Yeah, I mean, it's good business, and it is a business that is stemmed from the ability to, for the lack of a better term, have a cultic fan base. A fan base that is so dependent on the products that they provide that it's very difficult to come out.
But you will be happy to know that they've improved their porting tools, so you can, if developers want to appeal to that massive quotes cultic fan base, it's easier for them to say, okay, you know what, here are some PC programs where there's a market of people who want to use these PC programs to make. Fine, it is much easier for them to get access to games included.
I think the most revolutionary thing that would happen on the Mac infrastructure or Mac OS infrastructure is actually getting AAA games on there. Like proper getting
that would
game.
cause a very, very huge shift because Apple's have the best battery life.
And if I'm getting the same performance whether I'm charging it or not charging it, and
battery lasts me a whole day.
Salasi's M1 can last him a week before he charges it again, and that's even with him editing. He does. Okay, not as much. Yeah, he's on and off about it, but it's like we are getting to a point where the Mac OS has to give up this pseudo exclusivity and iffiness about gaming and just jump in.
They're trying to stop
They're
that.
trying, yeah.
The fact that they got a whole Hideo Kojima to come on there.
For those who don't know, Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid, thank you very much.
Yeah.
They come to announce the director's cut edition of Death Stranding.
Death Stranding is free on Epic stores.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to the conversation.
It's not a particularly great game. Okay, well, let us not get into a conversation about gaming and how
it is.
Here's the thing. Apple says we've created a tool that will let game developers make it easy for game developers to port their games or to migrate their games from Mac, from Windows to from PC.
So you're not making a whole new game.
Yeah, you're
all
porting
over again. You're literally just taking it, converting, pasting.
But you see, I'm inclined to not trust a company that has never particularly been in the business of gaming. We thought Project Red were going to kill it with Cyberpunk, and then it came and it was in shambles. They've been in the business for how long? And you today, you've come, you say, "Oh, we've made it easy for you to port." How do you determine that it is easy for me to port? Your infrastructure, your silicon infrastructure alone is different from everybody's own.
Yeah, so which is why they would bring you the translator.
So it is on them. It's on them to make it easier for people to be able to put games on. And the fact that they're trying to do it now is that, you know what, we are missing out on this big market of
because
gamers.
This is the thing. I was watching Linus Tech Tips review on the WWDC event, and the highlights for the Mac. We're quickly segueing into the new Macs, the M2 Ultra.
Yeah,
2 M2 Maxes put together, 76 core GPU. These are radical numbers, never before heard.
Crazy.
But then run a game on it and it will stutter.
Will it even run?
You might get it to run.
It will take a lot of work.
You can emulate it.
Yes. Run is a strong word. Maybe it's just walk.
Run is indeed a strong word. So, it's like, I've got the power, but I can't carry a bucket of water. I can lift weights, but I can't carry.
Or maybe I have 6 packs and huge arms, but I can't carry this cup of tea. Isn't that weird?
It's weird.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying, that they've created this tool for that.
But the one thing that would make it absolutely mega when it comes to gaming on Mac is the gaming. They had this gaming mode that would put priority of GPU, CPU.
Yes.
Now, another interesting thing about the Mac infrastructure is that if you are lacking in RAM, it actually transforms your ROM into RAM.
Where your ROM is your CD-ROM.
Your ROM is your disk, your drive space. It's able to transform some of your drive space into RAM.
Well, PCs already do that.
Yes, but I've used Apple's own, and it's very seamless.
Well, it's the same as Linux. If you've run Linux on a PC, you'd experience similar. So it's all in the...
And the last time I used Linux, I was in JSS.
Don't worry.
Look, even at the most basic level, macOS is based on Linux anyway.
Yeah. It's Unix based.
But the point is that if they do really get into the gaming, imagine that your Cyberpunk is lagging and it just takes a chunk of your ROM, turns it into RAM to just support. That means that I don't think the frames will ever drop.
We'll live to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you talked about the M2 stuff, Michael, as our resident Appleist.
I fell asleep at that point.
How do you feel about the M2 stuff and the cheese grater?
Crispy says, as for ROM into RAM, there some phones say they do them right now. He mentioned some phone brand. I can't say it on air, but you get the drift.
Yeah, but Michael.
Speaking of which, my phone does that. Takes some of my storage and adds it. So right now my phone has 20 gig RAM.
Yeah,
RAM, more than somebody's phone.
More than someone's laptop.
Yes.
Look, is there moon outside? And I'm going to do full social comparison. Anyway.
Actually, there is. So yes, new Macs, 15-inch, 15-inch MacBook Air.
It defeats the purpose of the Air to me. I thought the Air was.
So it should have been 15-inch MacBook Wind.
No,
because it defeats the Air.
For me, I thought the Air was the very basic introduction into, who asked for a bigger Air? The people who use Air have never wanted a bigger screen. Because the Air is basically the introductory. It's like, think about the Air like this. The Air and the iPad are almost the same. One has touch. They're about the same size, with everything. The only difference is that one opens up like a book and has keyboard attached to it when you buy it permanently, and doesn't have touch interface. Normally their capabilities are quite similar. The Air is just for introduction. The same way people tell you that go and buy a Chromebook if you're a PC user. The Air is Apple's version of the Chromebook, although it is going to disgrace any Chromebook if it
scrub the floor with it.
So a 15, and the Air was, I remember the first time the Air was introduced by Steve Jobs, he was holding a file.
Yeah. It was an envelope. Those brown envelopes, and it was in it.
Yeah, and he just took it out, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah, now you have a 15-inch Air.
Why?
Because sometimes Air is very strong, and it can blow things.
Not to mention the price point.
How much is it?
It was $12.99, I think, starting.
Yeah, so $12.99.
That's wild.
$1,300.
Yes,
That's like in Ghana money, 14K.
double arm.
Why do you do that?
Double arm.
Don't do the
The
conversion.
Ghana money.
No,
We're
no,
in
no.
Ghana.
If the 40K is not enough, double arm. Add the
Oh yeah,
AC,
taxes.
the
and
AC
stuff.
you go sleep inside, the taxes, the shipping.
But you see, what I didn't understand was that there's already the 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Mhm.
There's a 14-inch MacBook Pro.
Mhm.
There's the 13-inch MacBook Air.
Yes.
There's an 11-inch MacBook Air.
Where
There's a
does-
MacBook. There is what again?
To me, the only argument for the MacBook Air 15 inches is that, okay, maybe these people are casual consumers of content and they want a bigger screen. That's the only reason why they...
Or maybe for students who want a bigger screen than the 13.
But to be
It's a good
honest,
entry
I don't
level.
know.
I think okay, here's the thing for me. It makes sense, right? The 15-inch MacBook Air makes sense. But we would have to compare all the price points. Maybe, they're probably doing what their competitor Samsung does with phones, filling every single
Yeah.
price point.
Fair.
Somebody wants to buy a laptop, they don't want a Pro, but they don't want a small Air. That's too small.
Or maybe they want a big screen, but it's only
Not a big
available
screen.
on Pro.
On Pro, and they don't want. A Pro is too much money.
Yeah.
If you're going to get a 16-inch MacBook Pro and you're never going to edit a video in your life,
Yeah.
or edit a photo in your life, that's too much money to pay for it. So, I think the what do you call it? The compromise was too much, so that's why they decided to introduce this
Yeah,
to be in the
15.
middle.
Okay.
So yeah, that's cool. Then you have the Mac Studio, which is, for those who don't know, the Mac Studio is the Mac Mini when it ate Super Mario's mushroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, it grew a bit
So
thicker.
on proverbial steroids.
Yeah, it actually does have steroids because it's very powerful.
Hey, yo, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
So it's a Mac Mini that went to the gym.
Yes,
Yes.
pretty much.
What do you
Had
call
his,
that?
Had his heart broken, went to the gym. And
Liver King. Do you guys know the Liver King?
Jerry, that guy's a fake.
Yeah, he's
Forget him.
big. That's why. But the Mac, see, I'm not the M2 Ultra. Yeah, I want a device like that simply because of this. I mean, first off, they did tell us that Saturday Night Live runs its live programming on a Mac Studio because they can have how many? Was it 16 concurrent 8K streams?
Yeah.
For those who do not do
Yeah, he has to sit up.
yeah, for those who don't do video stuff and do not know how content is brought to you, be it TV or YouTube or films, editing is a particularly annoying thing. Very. Now, here's the thing. If you have 10 cameras, right, and you record everything from multiple angles, what happens during editing is that you take the footage from all the 10 or 9 cameras, put it into your computer, and now you're coming to sync everything. Make sure that whatever was said here tallies to whatever was said in this other angle. After you do that, before you do the cutting and everything. But imagine this. If you are live streaming or you're live connected to the Mac Studio with a switcher, you can cut your movie, your program, whatever, your YouTube video live, and you don't have to edit. You just have to color grade after. That is why I want a Mac Studio. So that means that if during a show, like let's say for instance, we are here, and you saw my hand, if you are watching us on YouTube.
This man just geeked out on video editing and made it seem like it's some life-changing decision.
It is. It
For
is
you.
going to save you so much time.
I can't not agree with him because we've been under that stress before. Like editing, people seem to think that editing is 1-2 clicks.
It's CapCut, man.
Yeah,
That's editing, man. We just load it into CapCut.
and it is done.
It's done.
It is impossible. It is so tedious.
It
I
is.
wish this was a more interactive. I could show you what an
Video
editor's
timeline.
view looks like. You have all of these.
I get you. You see, the thing is, even visualizing it for someone who doesn't understand the technology or the whole process, it would still not make any sense. It's like people sit down and watch, and they come and they see your screen and like, what is all
What is
this?
all
That's all they can say.
What is all this? Or if they're actually waiting for you to work on it, and like, what is taking so
So
long?
long.
Yeah,
Then they can't
they
sit
would-
down and look and like, oh,
Like,
Even when people have watched, I've experienced people watch someone work on like a very complex something, and to them, yeah, it's just going about scrolling, clicking. You're not holding a hoe and a cutlass and or a hammer and a nail or a chisel.
I think I've told the story before,
yeah,
but
you've
we had an experience where a client was like, okay, I have a free day. Let me spend the day with you guys and see what you guys are doing, because you had to edit something and he needed it before the next day. So he said he was going to spend the whole day. This was a very busy man who had a free day. So this man stayed with us till 3 a.m. The next day, he paid us extra and gave us a free drone. He told us that our job is extremely difficult and tedious. Because imagine this, if I shoot a 5-hour program with 3 cameras, I have to watch 5 hours 3 times before I even start to cut. And cutting means that, okay, maybe
I don't like this part.
As in, he walked from front to back and this camera angle is here. So he went. And then when he got to the front, there's a camera that is facing him. I want to switch to that. The Mac Studio.
So basically, you need a Mac Studio.
I would love to have a Mac Studio.
Between a Mac Studio and a Mac Pro, the cheese grater Mac Pro, which one would you take?
I'll take a Mac Studio. Even if someone was telling me that I'll foot the bill for all of it, the Mac Studio is far more portable.
So you take a Mac Studio and then a XDR Pro display.
Say free. If it's free, yeah, I'll take it.
Free what? In this economy.
So Wisdom says, good evening, geeks. It seems you guys don't know how people have been drooling over this 15-inch MacBook Air. Apparently we don't. There are people who really want the size of MacBook, but not too powerful and heavy like a 16-inch MacBook Pro. So there's a huge market for it. Keep up the good work, guys. I really enjoyed this program. Thank you very much, Wisdom. I told you.
Yeah, that's what Spikey says. I
told
don't know.
you.
For me, I think getting 2 extra inches at that price point, Charlie, I would rather not. Not.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the one that you guys have all been waiting for, the Apple Vision Pro. Yes.
Go there. Something just
Apple
keeps occurring to me as they talk about the new MacBook Air. It's thinner than... They just brought Spikey's laptop into the studio, right? Now, everybody...
Please switch to the
Don't
ad.
switch. Let me explain what is happening here. And see, another question says that he's lost. So allow me to explain. Right, Spikey's laptop is the size of a car engine, right? But the new MacBook Air is actually thinner than his screen.
I think it's about the size of his screen. It's the screen side of his laptop.
So Nana Kwesi says it lost. Nana Kwesi, why? I think probably you didn't watch the Worldwide Developers Conference.
But please tell us what you are lost
on so that we catch up with you after the break.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
And we're back. Yes, the show is Geek Squad on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Joy FM, where we talk about tech. And since today is Tuesday and yesterday was Monday, and yesterday was Apple WWDC 23, where Apple announced a lot of the new features for their OSs, the Mac OS, iPad OS, iOS, Watch OS, and they announced new devices, a new MacBook Pro 13-inch, a new Mac Pro with M2 Ultra, which is Apple's own processor. So Apple's made their own processor. They're no longer taking processors from Intel. Apple's been doing that since the M1. Now we're on the M2. And they announced the M2 Ultra, which is essentially 2 M2 Maxes mated together. Then they also announced the Mac Studio, which Winston is drooling over here. We had to get him a tissue to wipe his lips. But then, yes, and they announced what we're about to discuss now. The Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make a very quick announcement in case people get confused. iOS 17 support has stopped for the iPhone 10 and 8.
iPhone 10 and 8?
Yes.
iPhone 10 is dead already?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, isn't that quite recent?
Yeah, I just feel like...
Yeah. Feels not that long ago. But yeah, now this is it.
So 4 years, 5 years...
And even, I'm sure a lot of people who have been still using the iPhone 10s and moved on to iOS 16 have noticed that suddenly it's not able to handle lots of things. They're like, this is it. That's the last... You will not be able to go up to 17. So pretty
that's
much...
iPhone X. For those who don't know, Roman numerals for 10. iPhone 10 users, you're not going to get iOS 17. I'm very sorry. iPhone 8 users as well, you're not going to get iPhone 7, iOS 17. So you need to upgrade.
Yep, you do if you want to stay in the ecosystem.
Yes, so Apple Vision Pro. Now, this was very interesting to me because I'm a VR fanboy. I have an HTC Vive. I have an Oculus Quest 2.
In your car right now?
Yes, in my bag actually, here. Because I carry VR along everywhere because I love immersion, and I love the experience with virtual reality. And I mean, before I go to the end part, let me start with the but part. But
you start with the end first.
The but part, because VR technology hasn't really caught up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's the question of cost. Mm-hmm. There's a question of the technology not being too accessible. Mm-hmm. And there's a question of content, because for you to enjoy VR, somebody has to develop content, somebody has to develop softwares that you can take advantage of. Hence, our very own, he's not Dada, he's Mark Zuckerberg, rebranded his company and called it Metaverse, essentially preparing himself for the virtual world, which I don't assume somewhat. But yeah, Apple has given him hope. I'm sure yesterday's announcement about the Apple Vision Pro had Mark Zuckerberg go like, yes, finally somebody's on my team.
I beg to differ.
Oh, why?
I think he had a lot of head scratching to do because his metaverse was so interested in creating avatars. But Apple is telling you that you can be who you are, and the you that is you is what will be used to interface. So that's the day. So to be honest, the meta switch is one of the biggest tech L's we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg really took a big L with switching Facebook to Meta. But then again, now the question is, for those who don't know, Apple has announced a virtual reality and augmented reality headset called Apple Vision Pro, and you wear it on your face. So it's a computer that you wear on your face. Mm-hmm. For those who've experienced virtual reality, it's like a mask that you wear on your face and you can't see anything again. You are inside a new world. You've probably seen those videos of people running away from things that only they can see. Apple has done some. They've done their version of this. And it's very interesting. It's the most it is the most technologically advanced piece of hardware I have ever witnessed from Apple.
I will even say it is the most advanced VR headset.
Well, we haven't seen all of them.
No, so it goes back to my point, and this is Charlie, Spikey and I have been fencing about this Vision Pro for since yesterday.
For 24 hours. Now,
here's the thing. If you want to know, like Spikey said, one of the main deterrents of entering the VR space has always been the price point, and not even necessarily the immersive capabilities of it, but also the size and bulk of. That is the price you pay for the immersion, because you have to wear it on your head. If you want a vague image of what the VR headsets typically look like, Medical, when he's doing his music videos, sometimes he's wearing those ski masks on his face. Some of these musicians wear that. Think about it like that, but a little bigger and a little heavier because it has computer bits.
Yeah,
literally.
It has full 4K screens on each eye. So essentially what you're doing is you're wearing two 4K screens on your eye to help you see things as you would in real life. So, your eyes, each eye is seeing from a different angle.
To give you depth.
To be able to perceive things in a 3D space, a three-dimensional space. Now, that's the same thing that this computer that you're wearing on your face is trying to do. And Apple's one has probably, why do I keep saying probably? Because I haven't experienced it, but yes. From what they say, the best screens on any VR headset, one. Yeah. It is lined with cameras everywhere, inside
cameras.
And outside. Yeah, inside to look at your eyes, because that's how you control the thing.
And that's how it actually gives you, if you want to lock your device and unlock it.
Yeah, it looks at your eye.
It looks at your eye.
So now you have optic ID.
Yeah.
Wow. See, when I said this is the most advanced tech.
It is.
And then, so when you look left, then the cursor moves left. If you've ever used Tobii eye tracking, you know what I'm talking about. Like you look here and then it moves there. Then it has cameras on the outside that are looking at whatever's happening around you and recreating that in the screens to let you have an immersive yet not a withdrawn experience. So it's not like you're secluded. It's not like you're outside of where you are. You're actually inside where you are and you're seeing. And whatever you're seeing, the OS is superimposed on your space. Right?
I mean, we don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of what VR is because I have certain thoughts about Apple's execution. But the main thing is that as a piece of technology, it is very welcome and it is actually extremely amazing because the quantity of tech that is in that, it has an M2 processor inside of it. It is a computer by itself. It is made from aluminum and glass, which means that it's actually heavy, and it has a dedicated battery pack that unfortunately you have to put in your back pocket like a wallet. Only 2-hour runtime.
Better that than the back of your head, adding to the weight.
Fair, and it's only a 2-hour runtime.
Which is what I thought Apple should have done better with, because 2 hours.
Apparently, you can actually connect the battery to a power source.
Then
and use
tethered
it at the same time, and you are tethered. Yes.
So
if you are sitting now in your couch, it wouldn't.
What
be
if I'm playing Chaskele in VR?
And then if you unplug them
or get a longer charger cable.
Yeah.
Then end up wrapping myself around in charger cable.
Then don't
I can't even see. Yeah. I'm playing Chaskele.
Actually, you can because remember it has pass-through vision.
Only when somebody enters the room. So yes, if you are in VR, for those who have ever experienced VR, you know how. And this is a very interesting thing because I have a story to tell. A friend of mine came to try my VR and wanted to watch some content that's, and I let him watch this content, and for the better part of this, he forgot that he was surrounded. And the content got the better of him, and he started to.
This started to sound expensive.
And unfortunately, because he had earphones in, he also couldn't hear the presence of people around. So this is where the Apple headset would have saved him all that embarrassment, because VR can be quite convincing.
Very immersive sometimes.
So you don't want to be watching, 50 Shades of Grey, and then you have visitors come in and you don't know that you have visitors come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but with the Apple Vision Studio, the moment somebody enters, it becomes transparent to let you know that Obi or how.
Yeah. I mean, well, it is a hefty price and it's at $3,500. For me, this is what I was driving at. It is the best piece of tech we've seen in a long time. It is a very good precursor of what the future is. However, if your device costs $3,500 and your nearest competitor typically sells theirs at $1,500, you better come in swinging. So I think what Apple has done with this Vision Pro is not necessarily, they have not radically changed the game, if you ask me. What I think they've done is that they've thrown the gauntlet to other companies to make them realize that, you know what, all the VR tech that you've been hiding in the back there because you don't want to make it too expensive, put inside and drop it and let's see. We need to get this industry moving, so just drop it. If it will be $5,000 or whatever, just drop it and see. People may not buy, but it might just be good advertisement, and now we can focus on how to make it cheaper.
So
And I think them announcing it now and then saying it's going to be available next year is to make available to give opportunity to developers to make
Yeah, a lot of
applications and other things, content available.
Also, Samsung and Google are partnering to re-enter the VR game because the Google Glasses was put on ice. It seems like they might be about to revive it with Samsung.
You know, this is one thing I like about Apple. Apple will trigger everybody in the industry to wake up.
But this was before. Okay, well, yeah, they could, but this was before the Apple.
But then again, people knew for a long time that it's in the tech world that people they are preparing to launch this.
And they've been doing AR with their phones anyways. So we're about to go to do tech jargon, and there's no soundtrack. So Michael, hit it.
Dun, dun, dun. So the tech jargon for the evening is widget, which is an application or a component.
Haven't you already explained?
Yeah, I have, but then Prince, I should do it again.
My teacher said I should do it.
So it's an application which enables a user to perform a function or access a service that can be added to your device's home screen in a quick way, so you can quickly access information without having to open the full app itself, like your calendar, battery, weather,
Contact.
so on and so forth.
So yes, thank you very much, Michael, for the second deeper explanation of widgets. My favorite is unlawful data obtained without authorization. Okay, that had nothing to do with the show. Thank you very much for listening. If you missed this show, it's going to be available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, YouTube,